Everyone, hope everything's going well. 2024, the year in review. What are a few things that I've noticed? Conspiracy theorists have been right. I've been called a crackpot conspiracy theorist for the past few years. And the things that I've been saying, well, I'm getting vindicated on. There was Kurt's Card Care a few years ago. There's still some people out there that are more mad at me than the actual fraudster. So, you gotta look at those people and ask them, do they have psychological issues? Okay, let's put that aside now. Let's look at Kurt's Card Care. Kurt's Card Care was shouted out by NorCal Sports Cards earlier this year at PSA's headquarters. At PSA's headquarters, they got a PSA 10, they gave it Wemby, and they said, yeah, shout out to Kurt's Card Care, and then all hell broke loose earlier this year. That was the craziest thing to admit. This was an embarrassing look for PSA as they needed to change their terms of services for Kurt's Card Care because of that. That anyone now using substances and they could detect it and they could prove it, well, they have the right to come after people legally. That's what they're saying in their new terms of service. But I don't think they're serious about cracking down on this. There's multiple videos, even you could go to Instagram, YouTube. I've saved a bunch of these pictures. I've saved these videos. And I've even, mentioned Nat Turner and the guy running PSA in my stories. Like nothing happens. I mentioned there's one Pokemon card that is on one of PSA's Instagram channels, turned from a PSA 9 to a PSA 10. Why does PSA do nothing about it? Because they don't want to open Pandora's box. It's simple as that. Okay? But the good news out of all the pushback, this juice, this Kurt's Card Care juice, well, you can't use it. And if people are using it, well, they could get sued. So that's actually a positive for this year. No longer a crank conspiracy theory. Now, we should also look at, one of Lamim James' posts this year. It was targeted at me and this Cardboard Live because we kept on calling him out for using people's work without attribution, or actually some people's work. If you're part of the Good Old Boy Network, he used to give attribution. And if you're not part of the Good Old Boy Network, he's not going to give you attribution. And that, I don't know if he has an NDA with one of these companies where they say that, hey, you can't promote these people. And I'm sure other people have gotten that memo as well, is that you can't collaborate with person XYZ because they are perceived to be too negative for the hobby. And, just like the media out there, the sports card hobby cartel is compromised. They will not include information that is outside of their narrative because they think it's bad for business. All right? And the irony of this is I do believe that these channels, a handful of these channels, have signed NDAs. And then on top of it, they're told to go after certain individuals. And the craziest part of all of this is Lamim James' channel, or Lamim James, was bribed by Shine. You don't see Lamim James' buddies calling him out on that. You'll see some of his buddies calling me out because I'm way too negative. Do you see how this goes? This is a sports card cartel. And a lot of people look the other way because they don't want to be ostracized. They don't want to be, how should I say it? They want to be part of the in crowd. And I'll say whatever the hell I want to say because I'm not sponsored. I could do that. No one controls my strings here. And, okay, I get some YouTube revenue here and there, but, That's not going to pay 1 month of my mortgage. So I don't get paid that much here. Now, I wanted to look at some other aspects well, the year in review. You could see content creators are kind of sounding like the alternative viewpoints of a few years ago. They're turning more negative. Why is that? Is maybe because they understand there are so many shady things going on in this hobby, so much hanky panky. Or two, it could be for clicks. I don't know what it is. Like Jeff Wilson is totally turned a 180. As soon as Jeff Wilson got caught or got busted for pumping Star 84, lying about it. Yes, he lied about it. This guy's the face of the hobby. And he's interviewed by these, The Athletic interviewed him regarding, CT scanning? Like, he's interviewed all over the place. He's hanging out with Rubin. So it's just strange. It's weird. Like, how does this guy get promoted all the time? I don't think that's positive for the hobby, but it is what it is. I wanted to also look at CT scanning like I mentioned before. CT scanning. Like, I have a bunch of Brady packs from 2000. Are those going to go down in value now? I'm not going to CT scan any of them. But now the perception is, if they're going on market, they probably aren't worth that much. I think that is fraud, people that are doing that. Unless the only exception that I could see is, say you're an auction house and you want to make sure that, hey, these contents, it's not swapped with other cards. That's the only situation that I could see that it's legit, or someone actually wants to try it out for fun, and then they open up the packs, they hand out the cards. I mean, that's pretty much the only two reasons that I could see the legitimacy for CT card scanning. And so there's a lot of things going on with this hobby. A lot of hankus-pankus exposed. People are actually opening their eyes up. But the last thing I wanted to get into is Michael Rubin. So Fanatics has all these licenses. And Michael Rubin's hanging out with all these people with shady backgrounds, right? I always thought, like, hey, look, how did this guy have all of these guys, celebrity-wise? They're all hanging out at the white parties. Diddy used to run these white parties. I'm not saying weird things go on at his house, but we know that P. Diddy was most likely an FBI informant. And Rubin's hanging out with people with questionable backgrounds. Why is this being pushed on to the sports card hobby? Is this a psyop? I'm legitimately asking this question. Because, look, Jay-Z is being accused of all sorts of stuff. And Jay-Z has invested a ton of money into Fanatics. So, I don't know. Just seems weird to me. Anyways, let me know down below. Hope you have a nice new year. Talk to you later. Bye.